Hey folks, this is David Abramson here, the CTO at Qrvey, and I'm going to be running through a presentation that I previously gave at the CPO Summit in New York City back in March, where we're going to be talking about SaaS and the AI, and more specifically, how to become AI native instead of AI replaced. And a couple of things I just wanted to kind of first kick it off with talking a little bit about Qrvey and what we do. So we are a fully multi-tenant embedded analytics solution designed specifically to embed into SaaS products and SaaS applications. Every single one of our implementations is part of a SaaS product toolkit, providing rich analytic outputs such as reports, dashboards, data visualizations, et cetera, downstream to multi-tenant end user customers. And a couple of the key reasons why companies choose to work with us. Number one, our strong focus on self-service. So really empowering customers to build their components instead of just offering, pre-canned sets of reports and dashboards, empowering your users and end customers to actually design their own outputs, whether it's creating dashboards from scratch or even just modifying and editing the templates and components that you're offering to them. Everything is also fully embeddable, fully customizable, fits exactly with your product look and feel, and all of the branding. So it doesn't feel like you're going into another product. It actually embeds and integrates seamlessly as part of your product toolkit. Scaling is also really important with our embedded built-in data engine. Allows you to scale up to support, not just large volumes of data, but also complex data structures and data models, as well as bringing data together from multiple different types of data sources, databases, as well as semi and unstructured data. So you can transform, enrich, and make the data as analytic ready as possible. Also our multi-tenant architecture, so fully designed to support, your use cases for your tenant workspaces, security, entitlements, et cetera. And then Qrvey is also a fully deployed solution. So even though we work exclusively with SaaS companies, we ourselves do not operate as a SaaS. We deploy and embed directly into your cloud environments. So you get to not only own and manage all of the security and data, as well as the infrastructure and the upgrades and everything that goes along with making it as compatible with your SaaS product lifecycle as possible. So let's jump into our topic where we're talking about kind of the AI readiness of SaaS products and platforms. One of the things that's kind of really important to think about today is how users are increasingly starting to use AI tools as the interface. These are exploding, right? Everybody's going to Gemini or Claude or OpenAI, and that's the prompt. That's the front door to not only searching for information, but asking good questions, analyzing data, doing things, day-to-day tasks, automating things. Those are becoming the interfaces, and part of the challenge there is, where the risk rather for SaaS companies is AI then just becomes the front door, right? Your UI that gets bypassed, and increasingly the end user loyalty shifts to the AI layer, that those gateways, those prompts, those interfaces for not only just day-to-day operational tasks, but potentially tasks that your software would normally be accomplishing for your customers. And so I guess, fundamentally the question is, if the AI agents can provide enough of those capabilities to your customers, do they really need to use your product or your interface to accomplish what their goals are? And existentially, this poses a risk because we've built our products as SaaS companies to make them very sort of AI friendly, right? APIs and data and structured data models and tools and automated rules and things like that can be very easily orchestrated. So you don't want to risk your product becoming bypassed in favor of all of these AI tools. And Again, the data is centralized, the APIs are exposed, your security models and architectures are probably already fairly AI friendly. So it makes you kind of an easy target for these types of shifts in user adoption and user loyalty. And again, as I just mentioned, SaaS platforms are typically already designed to support this use case, right? We've got structured data, we've got multi-tenant security rules and logic, we've got APIs that are great interfaces to do a variety of different tasks within our products, and potentially also integrated with workflow and automation engines. And so it's a recipe for UI shifts. And basically, we provide all the ingredients for what these AI agents need, and users can leverage them to do the things that they want to do. And potentially, we lose that stickiness and the fact that they're not going to be in our platform as much. However, this also does pose some very interesting opportunities that are brought forth to leverage that AI. So instead of thinking about the AI as competition, right? So instead of thinking that you're losing your customer to these interfaces, think about how you can incorporate that into how you want to offer your product capabilities and feature sets. And a couple of different ways that this can be accomplished, not just from a data perspective through things like embedded analytic capabilities, but also through MCP integrations, agentic type features, natural language or conversational user interfaces, and also exposing more steps kind of in your multi-tenant security process so that you still own and manage the governance of data and how you want to work with the information through your SaaS offering and through the tools that you're offering with your SaaS product. And probably one of the best ways to accomplish this is through the MCP server type interface. Not only does this enable you to create structured, secure, and defined access to all of the tools that you want to expose to the AI agents, it also gives you the ability to create the rules and fine-grained permissions and the multi-tenant logic and all of the different things that you need to do to manage exactly how you want AI agents communicating with your technology stack. And so there's a lot of benefits that can be had for your SaaS platform when using these types of AI-ready capabilities, whether it's MCP or even just more compelling and powerful APIs. You're really making it AI accessible by design. You still maintain all the control, and also it can open up some interesting opportunities for new offerings, whether that's new products, new feature sets, or even new monetization opportunities that you can expose to your customers through these types of interfaces. So instead of being queried randomly by those AI agents, you own the relationship, you provide the official interface, the governance, and also the monetization opportunities to work with these AI tools in the right way. And so when we think about how we go about building this into our products, obviously it's good to think about it from sort of a phased approach. This can either start with just basic AI augmentation. Maybe it's providing some embedded analytic capabilities with AI tools. Maybe that includes some of the full self-service features, some smart insights where users can ask questions inside of conversational interfaces, but ultimately exposing tools like the MCP server to clients gives you a way to define exactly those AI boundaries. Also gives you some opportunities to now start thinking about how you would monetize end user consumption of your features, of your capabilities through the external AI services as well. And then once you start doing that, you can maybe think about how you would incorporate additional UI. Maybe it's more agentic interfaces and workflows, some automation tools, some integrations into maybe even other third-party services and their MCP interfaces, and then as well as kind of more detailed specialization, connecting other external agents connecting more AI features and adding them into your application. All of these give you opportunities to expand and grow your AI footprint, and really own the AI relationship between your product and your customer. Now, if all this sounds like a very daunting task, I think it's important to understand that there are tools out there that can give you a jump start to finding the right partners, whether it's folks like us at Qrvey or others, who can help you get to market faster with some of these capabilities, and then ultimately start to realize that there are compelling monetization opportunities to be had. And now we're moving away from maybe just basic, user licensing models or user-based pricing to potentially some usage-based models, AI usage-based, query-based, agent-based, maybe some premium AI feature-based tiers, or maybe even some MCP access fees. So a lot of flexibility to start thinking about ways to offer not only new layers, new tiers, but also new models for how you could choose to monetize some of these very rich and powerful AI capabilities beyond your sort of traditional subscription models that you're already working with. And so again, thinking about how you can transform building these new capabilities into very successful monetization opportunities and profit centers across all of your users and tenants within your application models. So thinking about it now, the real competition might not even be other SaaS products. Could be thinking about how those AI platforms can be taking attention away from your tools. But as we've seen, there are ways that you can incorporate that and really leverage that. So instead of competing with them, think about how you can complement or integrate with them through those different types of tools like MCP interfaces or additional agentic capabilities that you would present and create as part of your SaaS product offerings. So it's all about figuring out ways to strengthen not just your product, but the relationship you have with your users, so that you don't worry about being replaced by kind of the AI agents and AI user interfaces, and don't become bypassed by the users who are increasingly moving to those for the way that they want to work on a day-to-day basis. So let's take a look. I wanted to kind of walk through some ideas and examples of how this can work, certainly in the context of something like embedded analytics, through Qrvey's MCP style integration. So we're going to jump into a quick demo and take a look at how this type of logic can work. So the first part of the demonstration that we're going to work off of is starting from the external MCP client type interface. So, think about the gateway into working with data. Instead of your application can become something like just your Claude interface where users can add questions. So for example, if I'm connected and I'm using my application, maybe I just want to see what data I have access to. And again, you can communicate directly with the service, and you can see it's going through and checking what I have access to based on my tenant security rules and logic, and searching what types of tools I have access to work with, from the different environments, that we have. And so all of this can be done 100% through the external interfaces, that we have. All right, let's take a look at the data that I found within my Qrvey environment. So found that I have some data sets to work with, fully loaded and ready for analysis, and it's asking me what I want to do with this. So perhaps, I just want to communicate with it. Uh, Maybe I want to see some key metrics out of some of my data within the Qrvey environment. So we can go through and retrieve the data. It can query it. It can calculate some metrics. It can go through and build some aggregations. And so it's going to go through and identify finance metrics, demographics, activities, different level of details that we have. And, you know, maybe I want to see, what it looks like, comparing um, activity trends year over year. And so it's going to query the information that's there and give me, level of detail and understand kind of all of the detail that we have within the data. And as you can see, it's going through and again, sort of analyzing the information, understanding things like filters and different level of details and metrics, so we can see different pieces of information that it's generating. And all of this, again, can be done 100% within the external interfaces that we have. So summaries of year-over-year activity, key observations. Do you want it to drill deeper? Maybe you want to do some comparisons. And again, leveraging this interface to interact with the prepared data that you have within your application offers users a very compelling way to consume and work with the data and the details. Now, we can also do this from our other interfaces as well. Again, jumping into just kind of the application interface directly, tools like our AI assistant, we can also navigate and work with data directly from here. Maybe I just want to summarize some data quickly. I can use the AI assistant to do that, analyze the results. It can go through and not only provide some high-level summaries, but aggregation queries. And again, now what we're doing is we're really leveraging the MCP tools and custom interfaces to leverage anything we need about the data. So highlights, key metrics, demographic data, and again, being able to leverage things like key takeaways as part of this logic that we're working with. And so you can see all of the different rules and capabilities. What are some of the maybe I just want to ask, what should I be paying attention to? All right, so we can go through and get the breakdown, and it can summarize all of that detail. And through these summaries, I could also then, again, look at some red flags, look at some prioritizations, and then I can have it even do things like build a dashboard. Yes. With the key metrics. And so not only can you communicate with it, get answers quickly, get recommendations, get key takeaways, you can have it go through and build a comprehensive set of actionable reports and dashboards to analyze and kind of create the interface for what you're working with. So a ton of flexibility to create the indicators, create the charts, create the dashboards, and build that sort of compelling outputs that you're working with. So again, going through and leveraging all those steps in sort of the fully prompt-based way gives users a ton of flexibility, whether it's through external tools or the embedded tools of the analytics solution with Qrvey, that we're working on. And so you can see all the components, the charts that are being generated, the KPIs, the different tools that we have. All of that is, part of the logic that we're working with as inside of the different interfaces that we have there as well. There's a ton of flexibility to do the types of things that you need, through these models, and then ultimately generate the appropriate outputs that you want to work with. So that's kind of a high-level view of how you incorporate MCP interfaces and AI into your SaaS applications and products. And again, thinking about how you go about launching this into your product, thinking about what it looks like to partner with solutions like Qrvey, ready to integrate tools immediately to get to market faster and start offering these technologies and capabilities out to your customers so you can focus on the rest of your differentiators as well. So bottom line, AI is not necessarily going to replace SaaS, but becoming AI native SaaS will definitely be the winner when it comes to offering these types of capabilities and winning the market share for your customers and keeping them engaged with your product offerings as well. All right, thank you for your time and taking a look at our presentation. Check us out, Qrvey.com, to learn more and to communicate with us and get a custom demo or just learn more about how Qrvey can help launch these AI native capabilities directly into your SaaS products. Take care, everybody. Thank you.